never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Happy Monday to everybody out there. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. First weekend in a while that I can remember where we did not have a lot of rain. I feel like it's rained about every day since January. This weekend was actually very, very nice. Today here on the channel, I want to talk about quite a few things. We're going to talk about the NBA coming up in a few minutes. And we're also going to talk about SWA in a couple of minutes. But first, I want to do my first Braves report of the season. The Braves are 14 games into the season thanks to a couple of rainouts. They're sitting at 9-5 right now. They're the only team in the National League East who has a winning record. The Phillies are in second place. They're currently 8-8. The Braves are in action again tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern time against the Houston Astros. If you recall, the Braves were supposed to open the season on Thursday, March 28th. And then I believe after that they were scheduled to play about 20 games in 21 days, something like that. I think they were supposed to be off that Monday after the Phillies series and then come back and play every day for the next 2.5 weeks. But that Thursday game against the Phillies got rained out. So instead of starting the season on Thursday and being off on that Friday, they ended up playing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then since that happened, they've had a snow out game against the White Sox and a rained out game last Wednesday against the Mets. So already 2 weather delays have ended up being postponements until later on in the season for the Braves. I've never figured out why the White Sox do not have at least some kind of fancy dome, because you know in Chicago it can rain or snow any day of the year, and they should know that as much snow as they get in Chicago in April and even in September and October, they need some kind of roof over their stadium. But as I said, the Braves are 9-5, and they've got to figure out what to do about the whole Spencer Strider situation, because we know he's out for the year. But the Braves traded Mike Soroka in the offseason, and they traded Jared Schuster in the offseason, and Alan Winans pitched this past Thursday in Strider's spot. He's not the answer. There were a lot of rumors in the offseason about the Braves trying to get Dylan Cease. Well, he ended up signing with the Padres, so he's off the market. Ian Anderson is out until at least June after having Tommy John surgery last summer. Now, Huascar Ynoa had pretty good numbers a couple of years ago, and then he did the stupid, idiotic thing of punching the wall, and he broke his hand, and he has not been in the major leagues since then. I believe he had Tommy John surgery last year as well. So if and when he comes back this year for Gwinnett, the Braves may give him a look. But outside of that, until Ian comes back, unless they're going to try Jesse Chavez, they don't really have a lot of options. But you've got to find a permanent option now that they have finally announced Strider's out for the year. And the way that Marcell Ozuna's hitting right now, he could carry the Braves to a World Series victory just with his bat. He's got 7 home runs and I believe 21 RBIs through 14 games. Now, it doesn't take a genius to know that those kind of numbers aren't going to continue all year long. He's not going to have 80-plus home runs, even though he is on that pace right now. But if he could have 40-plus home runs and 100-plus RBIs, and you know Olson's going to do that, the middle of the Braves lineup is set. Now, this is Ozuna's last year with the Braves, so unless they plan on re-signing him, you might consider making him a trade piece come July, because the way he's hitting right now, any team that is a borderline playoff team that just needs a bat to carry them to the World Series would be happy to have Ozuna. But if you're the Braves, the way he's swinging the bat right now, you don't want to trade him. But if you can get a starting pitcher out of the deal, then you might go for it. But will you get a good starting pitcher, because the team that trades for Ozuna knows they're only getting him for a couple of months. But we know 2020, Marcell Ozuna was tearing the cover off the ball. But that season was cut short, so we don't know what he would have done throughout the whole season. And then he started out slow last year, but as the season progressed, you could tell his swing was coming back. And right now, he is fun to watch. When his swing is on, it's the prettiest swing in baseball. A great night again, Saturday night at 244 Livestock Road, Easton Nolly, Georgia. We had 2 more wrestlers make their SWA debut. That was Ace Harris and Bradley Riot. And just to let you know how many wrestlers SWA has right now, we had 10 matches Saturday night, and that includes 2 6-man tag team matches. So that tells you how many wrestlers want to be a part of the SWA. The next show will be May the 11th, which is the second Saturday in May. And it was announced Saturday night that on May the 11th, we'll see Cade Powers versus Richard Ramos in a no disqualification, no count out hardcore match. So if you like chairs and tables and ladders and all that kind of good stuff, go ahead and get out your calendars and circle May the 11th for SWA Wrestling at 244 Livestock Road, Easton Nolly, Georgia. And the NBA wrapped up the regular season yesterday. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how many wins and losses every team had, because you know that each team plays 82 games. So if I tell you how many wins a team had, you can pretty much calculate how many losses they had. But I will say the Boston Celtics from the Eastern Conference ended up with the best record in the NBA, 64 wins and 18 losses. The Knicks ended up finishing second in the Eastern Conference with 50 wins, because the Milwaukee Bucks ended up losing Giannis to an injury, and they fell to third place. They still won 49 games, but if they don't get Giannis back and back healthy, the Bucks are no threat whatsoever. Cavaliers win 48 games, 47 apiece for the Magic, Pacers, and 76ers. And then the Miami Heat win 46 games, the Bulls 39, and the Atlanta Hawks win 36 games to get that 10th spot in the East. So, of course, that means they'll be in the play-in tournament. Now, the Boston Celtics were easily the best team in the NBA all year long, but that doesn't always mean that team wins the NBA Finals. Boston's been pretty stinking good the last couple of years in the regular season. They just cannot seem to get to the NBA Finals and win a championship. Maybe this year will be different. As I said, if the Bucks don't get Giannis back and back healthy, they're no threat. The 76ers ended up getting Joel Embiid back, and if Embiid can stay healthy, the 76ers have a pretty doggone good team, but we'll have to wait and see if he can stay healthy throughout the 76ers playoff run. On the Western Conference side, the Oklahoma City Thunder had the best record with 57 wins. They tied with the Nuggets, who also had 57 wins, with the Thunder win the tiebreaker, so they ended up with the best record in the Western Conference. The Minnesota Timberwolves win 56 games. The Clippers, 51. The Mavericks, 50. The Suns and the Pelicans both win 49 games. The Lakers, 47. And then the Kings in the 9 seed and the Warriors, the 10 seed, both win 46 games. My Pelicans with 49 wins, 1 win shy of 50, but it's their own fault. They didn't get there. They lost a couple of weeks ago to the Spurs, who were flat out awful. And then they had 2 games this year where they played the Memphis Grizzlies, and they had 20-point leads in both games and lost. But to me, they're not a playoff team yet, because with the new rules, we have the play-in tournament. So to some, the play-in tournament is part of the playoffs. To some, it's not. And then after the play-in tournaments from the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, we'll have our 8 playoff teams. I don't consider a play-in tournament part of the playoffs, because to me, the word play-in means you're playing to get into the playoffs. But that's just my opinion. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Just finished reading a book called Fear of Sunlight. It was written by Gladys Knight. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.